Mm.
Lock up and. All right, how we feeling in-house? Woo, all right. Allison, what is your topic?
Is subliminal persuasion a threat?
Excellent, thank you. Audience, are you ready? Yes. Allison, are you ready?
Yes.
And proceed.
Have you ever gone to the movie theater and you sit down, you start watching some ads, and you think, dang, I'm like really hungry. Maybe you skipped out on the popcorn as you walked in, or maybe you did get popcorn and you look down and it's already halfway gone and the movie hasn't even started. According to Psychology Today, 1988, this might be the fault of subliminal persuasion. Subliminal persuasion is a psychological tactic often used in marketing. Some people think it does more harm than good, and others think that its effects are minor, maybe even powerless. So as we can see, there's two sides, those that approve of subliminal persuasion and those that don't. But first we must understand, what is subliminal persuasion? The Journal of Social Psychology states in 1988 that subliminal perception describes any word, image, or sound that is not perceived within the normal range of consciousness, but that makes an impression on the mind. Subliminal persuasion is often a marketing tactic that is used to try and improve sales of a product or service. So this can be done in two different ways. The first way is when you hear a voice. So let's say we're watching a commercial and we hear a voice, but it's loud enough that the unconscious mind is registering it and can understand it, but it's not loud enough for the conscious mind to understand. So we're hearing it and it's affecting our emotions and our actions, but we really don't realize that we're hearing it. And it can also be done in a visual fashion. So say we're watching a commercial and we're looking at the TV and a quick snippet of words is going to just flash. It's like a microsecond. You barely even notice it. In fact, you don't really notice it. Your unconscious mind does notice it and registers those words and their meanings, and then it can affect your emotions and your actions. However, your conscious mind doesn't. So once again, you're reading it, but you don't really realize that you are reading it. So let's go back to the theater example. The previously cited Psychology Today, 1988, describes subliminal persuasion being used during movie ads to try and get you to buy popcorn, a drink, or some candy. It does this by quickly flashing words on the screen during ads like eat popcorn or hungry. So now that we know what subliminal persuasion is, and a good example of it, what are the two sides? Now, it's not everybody's favorite idea to know that there's marketing companies trying to manipulate their thoughts and their actions. However, those that do approve of subliminal persuasion understand that these effects are minor, and it can only affect a certain group of people. Skeptical Inquirer 2009 says that in order for subliminal persuasion to really be effective, there has to be some sort of motivation involved. So let's go back to the same theater example. So if you go into the movie theater and you're hungry in the first place, it's going to be the icing on the cake. You are going to be persuaded by the messages. However, if you go into the movie theater and you don't have the urge to eat and you're not hungry, the criteria is not right and you're far less likely to be persuaded. The previously cited Skeptical Inquirer 2009 also comments that the more people that know and are aware of subliminal messages, the less likely they are to be persuaded. So if someone is sitting in the movie theater and they're trying to pick up all these details saying, oh, is there a subliminal message? They're actually far less likely to pick up these details and they're not going to be persuaded. For some people, these reasons are sufficient enough to say, yeah, I do approve of subliminal persuasion. But for others, these reasons are not sufficient. The reason that some people do not approve of subliminal persuasion is because there is proof that subliminal persuasion does work. WebMD 2005 explained a study done on the brain. Devices were placed on the brain that could detect electric responses as to what the brain was reacting to. They then showed a group of people messages both with and without subliminal messages. These messages contained words such as danger, fire, and kill, and they also contained words such as family and friends. They then observed the difference in reactions when there was subliminal messages, when there wasn't, and the difference between the more aggressive words like danger and kill, and then the more positive words like friends and family. They concluded that the brain was more active to the subliminal messages and even more active to the aggressive words. This implies that the brain is registering the words on the screen and the words that are being said, and it also can determine the meaning. So obviously it reacted more to the danger words than it did to more positive words because it's understanding this is a danger word. Skeptical Inquirer 2009 declares that doing some things consciously and some not is just how humans work. We don't think about doing things such as breathing. It's just how we are. It comes naturally. The same goes when we're listening, when we're reading things. That's why subliminal persuasion is able to work. Because when we listen, we're not thinking about, oh, I'm gonna listen to this, but I'm totally gonna zone this out. It kind of just happens. And the same goes for reading. This is just a natural process. Subliminal persuasion can be controversial, but it truly is fascinating. In conclusion, we can see there's two sides, those that approve of subliminal persuasion and those that don't. Subliminal persuasion is a psychological tactic often used in marketing, and some people think it does more harm than good, and other people think that its powers are minor and not even noticeable. So next time you're at the movie theater and you're starting to get a little hungry, think, am I really hungry for that popcorn? Or is someone telling me I am?
Thank you. Five oh one 89 is what I had.
50274.
I focus right now.
Carson, what is the topic?
Is hunting animals morally acceptable?
Thank you. Audience, are you ready? Carson, are you ready?
Yep.
And proceed.
There are over 15 million hunters in the nation currently in the US. 530,000 of those hunters are from Minnesota. The arguing about whether or not hunting is morally acceptable or not morally acceptable has been talked about a lot. Today I'll give you some facts and benefits that makes hunting morally acceptable in our society. The first benefit is it pours $1.6 billion into our state's economy every year, which is really helpful. And it pours this money in through hunters buying licenses and deer tags and even buying equipment at stores. Hunters also can pour money in by supporting local gun clubs and local hunting clubs that pay more for the land and wildlife treatments. Another benefit is it provides over 800,000 jobs, and these jobs have a variety in being a gas station clerk, a waitress, a blacksmith, or a gunsmith, and it can also be a DNR officer, and it can range all the way up to being a biologist in a lab. So as you can see, it is a variety of jobs that hunting can provide for our society and nation. Another benefit is it can feed the hungry, and by feeding the hungry, hunters that usually have more meat than what they want or have leftover meat from the year before, because if they only live in a house with 2 people, there'd be extra meat from last year. So the hunter or hunters will typically, if they have extra meat, they can donate it to a food shelter, which can help feed hungry people who really need food. And hunting can also feed the hungry by, in certain areas, deer population is too high. Currently, it's the whitetail deer, and specific areas, hunting is allowed. Hunters are allowed 2 deer per person because of the overpopulation in that area. And like I said before, if they have enough meat and they don't need it, and if it's gonna spoil, they want to get rid of it, and they don't want just to see an animal get thrown away. So like I said, they'll typically donate to a food shelf or a food shelter to be processed into hamburger, so they can feed lots of mouths and have a good cause instead of letting everything go to waste. Another benefit or fact is it can lead to a healthier lifestyle. Experiencing solicitude, time to think, relaxing, and relieving stress, and getting exercise. John Daigle and Daniel Livers, 2002. It can lead to a healthier lifestyle because when you go out hunting, you have to be in a little bit of shape, and it can clear your mind from like the real world too, or like you can be alone, you can have your own thoughts, you don't have any distractions, you're just there with the woods, you're connecting with the woods. In saying this, accidents also occur with wildlife. 4% of our accidents in the United States come from wildlife. And the loss of, and according to the North Carolina Wildlife, is an estimated that the percentage of deer collisions would increase 218% if wildlife would be, or hunting would be abandoned or abolished. The loss of hunting could allow wildlife related issues become far worse. North Carolina Wildlife, 2022. Hunters also provide 70% of the funding for conservation and wildlife management, which is huge role because without it, wildlife could be destroyed and conservations would be destroyed and due to like businesses could come in and buy them and destroy them and build buildings and animals wouldn't have a home. In conclusion, hunting benefits our economy, conservation, wildlife management, health, and a healthier lifestyle. North Carolina Wildlife 2022 is morally accessible in our society.
Here. At 5:12:45.
5/12/49.
Wow, 400s.